Peace to the Respectfully Greats. Today, we are live on the Respectfully Great podcast. I am your host, Johnny Reed, and today we have a wonderful topic to unpack. It's called I Wish You Had More Time. A few minutes ago, we were undergoing some technical difficulties, but we are going to get through it one way or another. So I just want to inform you about that. Let's kick this thing off now on other platforms so we can really get into the gist of what's really going on. Let's get to our sponsors while we have them here today. And I'm proud to present some of our sponsors, which is Respectfully Great, the brand. Here we are. If you can see it, Respectfully Great. Yes, it doesn't stop there. That's a t-shirt. How about here? Yeah, we got some socks. Ooh, Fialini. Oh, we ain't done there. Got some more for you. Oh, yeah, this right here is actually embroidered. You see? This one is actually embroidered. Fire. You go to respectfullygreat.com, shop today, get your latest and your greatest gear from respectfullygreat.com. You can shop, you can get your enamel pins, you can get shirts, you can get socks, you can get sweatsuits, you can get sweat shorts. You can do so much more on our platform. You can actually read our blogs. Our blogs are super informative. So many things that you can learn and implement and take back home, utilize it to your greatness. Use it to your fullest potential, as well as pass the information on, because the whole premise of us uploading that type of content is just bringing awareness to who we are, where we're going, and the things that we can implement within our communities and with oneself in order to impact it for the greater good, right? So go to respectfullygreat.com. You can shop today. Also, you can go to Respectfully Great on YouTube. So subscribe, like, share, do that type of thing, right? Do the thing. Today, let's jump right back into the topic because I don't want to lose too much time. Today, we're talking about I wish you had more time. What does that sound like to you? I actually came across a movie, one of my favorite movies. It's called Man on Fire by Denzel Washington. Well, actually, not he starred in it, right? And we had Dakota Fanning as well as other great actors and actresses within the movie. And I came across a segment where it said, I wish you had more time. And it's so relevant to what's going on in our world today, what's going on with us right now, the times that we are in is so prevalent to why we need to emphasize having more time. We can wish we had more time or actually utilize the time that we actually have in real time. What most people fail to realize is that the day that we are born, every day that we are living from that moment on is actually a step closer to our death. And that's one of the things where most people don't really look at it, don't really pay that much attention. We always say to ourselves, we have enough time. This would work itself out in due time. In the future, things will work out to my benefit because I'm 20 years old, 17 years old, in my 30s, 40s, etc. I got time. And by the time you look up, you're like, wow, where did the time go? Time has passed me. And I came across this situation because I actually lived and experienced wasting some of my time as well and wishing that I had more time. There were times where I looked up and I said, wow, 2 years passed, 3 years had passed. I'm still in the same position, same place. And I don't see any growth or development. My finances aren't changing. My relationships aren't growing. My business acumen is not, I'm not picking up the things I need to pick up in order to be a better communicator, in order to aid myself going down the path of figuring out what I need to implement within oneself in order to operate the business that I want to be of, because you are a reflection of your business. So I was missing all these key components because I really wasn't tapping into utilizing my time to my strength. I started to waste a lot of time. This isn't just a one in occurrence type thing. I've wasted time throughout my life. And I have some statistics here that I would love to read to you in a second. But I really want to emphasize time is very, very valuable. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. People look at us all crazy. What you mean? I'd rather have the money. But when we pose that question, if I gave you $1 million today, but the caveat, the catch 22 to me giving you that $1 million today, you will have to die tomorrow. you will be unalive tomorrow. How would you feel about having the $1 million? Do you hold that $1 million in high regard then if you were told that, hey, I give you the million today, but you no longer will be alive tomorrow? Would you take that offer? Does that sound just to you? Does that make any sense? When I thought about it myself, I'm like, no way in a million years would I take the million and not live to see a better day tomorrow. So what did that tell me about money versus time? Time is infinitely more valuable than money. Well, if it's so valuable, why are we spending a lot of our time chasing the money and not really maximizing the time? Great question. I ask myself that same question often. Am I hustling and bustling? Am I just grinding? Yeah, those things are necessary in order to get us from point A to point B. We have to put the legwork in. We have to go out there and strive for a better tomorrow. But ultimately, how are we utilizing the time? Because a lot of times, if we saying that we are chasing the money instead of trying to develop and, be better skillfully, picking up trades, picking up craftsmanship, learning how to do things that are, decrease the time spent on some of these things, I think we'll make better use of our time. We can stretch the time. We can actually buy some of our time back because the time that we would take to accumulate a skill or learn a craft or a trade, you could, decrease that by, tenfold. Why would I have to go through the process of learning how to, just do the labor if I can go and I use, say, ChatGPT or use some other resource and be resourceful and utilize the things that are around me to aid me to get from point A to point B that much faster? Instead of something taking me 5 years to do it, if I can do it in 1 year, wouldn't that be feasible? Wouldn't that make more sense? If you get the same exact result that you can get in 1 year versus taking 5 to get it, would you take up that offer? I know I would. So when I'm learning along my journey through growth and development, through entrepreneurship, building stronger relationships, building more valuable things around me, and being resourceful, utilizing my resources, I learned that time is infinitely more valuable than money. When I was younger, I was on the money hunt, chasing money, chasing money, chasing money, until one day I found myself having no money. So I questioned, man, I spent years just chasing the bag, trying to get the money, and then I looked up and I had $0. So I questioned myself, man, I spent so much time out here hustling, bustling, trying to get the money, to look up to only find out that I don't have any money. How did I feel? I felt out of place. I felt myself questioning what's going on in my life. Is it me? Am I the problem? Is people around me problem? Are they the problem? Is my understanding of how the world works, is that the problem? A combination of it all. I think it was a combination of it all. When I started to learn and put more emphasis on being a better person, things started to make more sense to me. I started to see myself in different positions when it came to finances, when it came to relationships, when it came to personal growth. I started to find myself feeling more confident, feeling more overall, my morale, how I felt by myself. Everything started to, rise up. And although I had pivotal moments in my life where I felt down, I went through some struggles. I had some, I've been incarcerated. I've gone through things in my life. And when I experienced these things, I always said to myself, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to get through this? And I sat back, I started to analyze, and I started to figure out, utilize your time. What's funny was, it didn't start there. I always had this preconceived notion to want to do better, but just didn't know how. I didn't know how. And that sounds kind of weird, right? Not really. Very, very common. People often say that they want more in their life, but don't understand how do you accumulate more. People don't understand that we have to use and maximize what we already have before we can accumulate more. Opportunities don't open up when you don't become the person that can seek the opportunity. You don't get the keys that open up the door, the open sesame. You don't get that when you don't change the behavior. Doors don't open up. Opportunities don't open up. Relationships don't connect. You can't be that liaison. You can't be that good communicator. You can't be the one that builds. You can't be the one that strives if you don't start pouring more time into actually how you becoming, the behavior, the things that you do on a day in, day out basis. It's a combination of habits. It's a combination of removing yourself from environments, getting into new ones, building more confidence into who you are. How do you build the confidence? So you got to start trusting yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror, build up your awareness. Combination of many, many things that started to open up my own eyes, and things started to move forward. Occasionally take steps back. But that's just how life works. Everything in our lives come through mainly through trial and error. Right? We have to go through something, get met with the friction, and then creatively work our ways around that. We become bigger than a problem if we can outthink the problem. But how do we start utilizing our minds in that capacity? We got to start understanding the difference between subjective and objective. I heard this the other day from watching Dr. Ali, and he made such a valuable point. When I watched the brother, he's so insightful. When he was talking about objective things. Objective things are truth, right? Subjective is opinionated things. And he said something that's super profound. I don't know it verbatim. I got it written down the way I internalized it somewhere in my book. But off the dribble, it was more or less like, once we start seeking more objective truth in our lives, right? Start finding out the facts. What's the facts to things, right? Then we able to start to dissect our opinions, our subjective thoughts against that, and we start being able to decipher where we should use which. Very, very key. Being able to know when to apply which one. You got objective thought and subjective thought. The real key is knowing when to apply either one. When to hold on to truth because you know it's truth. Knowing when to question the things that you know you need to question. Because we'll be so confused if we just all day using opinionated thoughts throughout our whole lives and not holding on to the valuable things or the principles that are true, are deemed to be true. A principle is law. So why are we still fighting against the law, which the law is the law? But what we do as human beings, right? We find our ways of always wanting to challenge some of these things and not knowing when to use discernment, knowing how to use agency, how to use quality decision making. But we start to boost up our quality decision making when we start to know when to hold on to truth and when to stretch and challenge the subjective, opinionated thoughts and things in the society, in the world. That's how we become that insightful, more aware individual. This is how we start to maximize our time. This is how we start to maximize our potential. All of these things along my journey, I started to figure out because I started to listen to some of these thoughts and these perspectives. Then I started to utilize some of these thoughts and perspectives. Then I started to say, you know what? I'm grounded in some of this truth. And I'm going to hold on this truth until it deems to be different. Or if it's a principle, I'm holding on to it until otherwise. And I'm not going to constantly challenge that. What goes up must come down, regardless. If I choose to go in shark infested water, what are the likelihood that I will survive? There was a kid I was watching, um, that was on a boat on a vacation, and he was with a couple friends. It was a college or high school vacation, whatever. They went to Cancun or something, but they ended up jumping in. The guy drunk, drinking, etc., and he ended up jumping in shark infested water. They was on a cruise or something. He jumped into shark infested waters. When he jumped into shark infested waters, what happened? He got eaten. He got eaten. He got eaten up. Got eaten up. The moral of the story is that that's a principle. That's where the truth lies at. Why would you go and use an opinionated thought that you can outswim the shark in their water with multiple sharks? You're going to outswim the shark. Doesn't make any sense. Maybe if you go challenge a kid in the kiddie pool, you have a better shot. Just saying, if you can swim, because there's some kids out there that'll beat you too. You feel me? All I'm saying is that we got to know when to use some of our decision making, knowing when to apply truth and hold on to truth, and then know when to use subjective thought and say, you know what, let me challenge that thing right there. This is why I need to start pushing the envelope in this area. And this is how I started to gain some more understanding of how life works from, the place that I'm in at this very moment. I know as we go through our journey, timing, very, very key. Most of us don't use our time correctly. I know I misuse my time in various times in my life. Still do it occasionally. Until I look up and I'm like, wait, what did you do today? When I did a self-audit, I started to find myself, man, how much time did you waste? It's funny. Shout out to Roy Red. Me and Roy Red was building the other night. And we was chopping it up. And we both were just talking about the things that we got going on in our lives. And we looking for some of the answers, sparring, mental sparring, brainstorming, coming together as a collective. And we just, pondering on thought. And what was super profound is that the timing of when we was working, right? It happened to be 12 midnight. It's midnight right now. The following day I had to go to work, fully transparent. Had to be to work at 7 in the morning. 12 midnight, I was up calendaring, marking out my calendar. So me and the guard building, and we were talking about finding the time to do things. A lot of times we say, I gotta get into bed right now. It's past my bedtime. But you worked, you came home, you did what you had to do, and you just exhausted. And then now it's time for the bed. But we say that we want to work on things to move the needle forward towards our goals. But the other time, we're not devoting any time towards it. But we say we want the outcome. Our behavior speaks different. The sacrifice speaks different. The time devoted to the thing that you say you want speaks different. And what made me realize is that the timing that we were talking, 12 at night, often I was one of the same individuals, come home having a long day, kicking these dogs off, shower up, eat, and I'm in the bed, surfing the net, scrolling the net, YouTube, Instagram, seeing what everybody else got going on in their lives and not checking in with self, not doing a self-audit. Before I looked up, I wasted 3-4 hours still in the bed by 9, 12, 1 o'clock, still scrolling on the phone. Since we're talking about that, I want to introduce an astounding stat to the audience, right? Check this out. Scrolling. The average time of screen time on a daily for an average person, the ordinary person, is 6 hours and 40 minutes. Let me run that back to you one more time. 6 hours and 40 minutes of screen time that we do, the average person, every day. Let's break that down a little bit. If you have a 9 to 5 job, 8-hour shift, 8 hours. Never mind the commute and all that. We just put all that, scrunch that in consolidate it all into one. 8 hours. Travel back and forth, whatever, and 8 hours on your shift. Just calculate it as 8 hours. Most people say they want 8 hours of sleep. 16 hours. But most people will be looking at the statistic on their phones for 6 hours and 40 minutes, which is almost 7 hours, just scrolling. That leaves you an hour and 20 minutes of free time. Every day, your time is pretty much soaked up with an 8-hour shift, 8 hours of sleeping, and 6.5 hours of only scrolling. But we say that we want to go out there and tackle our goals with an hour and 20 minutes every day. Now, let's be clear. The hour and 20 can be useful. We're not going to negate the fact that an hour and 20 minutes is still an hour and 20 minutes that we can utilize. But my question is, how much more productivity can we have if we had an extra 6 hours and 40 minutes to work towards our goals? How much more can we get done? When I found out that stat, it set me back in my seat. I sat back in my seat. I started to do a self-audit with oneself. Johnny, analyze yourself for the next 3 days, right? See how much time do you waste. Take a look at it. See what you're doing with your time. Get a notebook, get a sheet of paper, write down what you are doing from this time to that time to this time, etc. And just check out where your time is going. What are you doing in those moments? You sitting there doing nothing? Totally fine. Right now, I sat here and did nothing for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, etc. What I started to find out is that I had way more time to do some of the things that I said I didn't have time to do because my time was occupied by an immense amount of distractions. Yeah, I said it. My time was occupied with an immense amount of distractions. Scrolling the net, watching a sporting event, watching what other people doing in their lives on the social media. Johnny, you have some work that you could do. Let me tell you how crazy this is for the God. So being so caught up in everybody else's world, not really focusing on your business, there are things that going on in your life, me, talking about me, the I, self, that I started to miss out on. I didn't really realize about, prime example, I got locked out of my Google Suite account, right? Got locked out of my account. Try to get in it, locked out. Didn't know the password, set it up, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Come to find out that I already had the information in my phone mixed up in a whole bunch of other things, etc. Here nor there. The premise of me saying this, the why I'm saying this, is because me being scrambled and all over and not being more organized caused me to get locked out of my account. I actually went and put a different admin piece of information to allow me to get access to my account. I put a whole nother different admin in there. And now I got to wait another 7 days to get the response back from Google for them to tell me, hey, this file right here is not even on your account. Now I got to come back, negotiate with them, submit all this other paperwork just to get access to my G Suite account, my business account, right? What I'm saying is there's so many things that are going on in my life, but I'm not focused on anything that's going on in my life because I am distracted about the things that's going on around me, the people, the places, the things, and my life is in disarray. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. It costs you. It costs me. How do you like that word? Costs. Costs. It costs me. It cost me in the past. When my life was in disarray, ran through a bunch of credit cards, $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt. You know what my life consisted of? Partying, going to work, hanging out, partying, catching tickets, hanging out, more partying, more drinking, DWI, this, that, bum, 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 couple $1,000 in tickets, and it goes on, and I found myself $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt because I wasn't self-checking in with me. I didn't do a self-audit. I was wasting time doing the wrong things. You know why? I told myself, I can do that tomorrow. There's some things in some areas of my life where I'm suffering because I mishandled and misused some of the things that I had going on in my life. And here it is, 7 years later. I'm still trying to clean up the mess from 7 years ago. Waiting for this to drop off my credit report. Waiting for this to do that. Waiting for this to do that. Because I was not doing self-check-ins. I was wasting the time. How many of us out there in real time waste the time? It's a question. But it's a question that is necessary that we have to answer. Nobody else. You do. We got to figure out where our time is going because tomorrow's not promised. Let me read you another astounding stat. Astounding stats. I like that. Respectfully. Let me read you another astounding stat. Respectfully. Here it is. Do you know the average lifespan of a man and a woman in the United States? Can anybody take a guess? Let me see if I go on the gram and see if anybody knows. Let's take a guess. Let's take a guess. Astounding stat. Let me break the news. The average age for a male in the United States is 75 years old. 75 years old. For a woman lifespan is a little bit longer than men. They got us about another 4 years, a little healthier body, genetic, etc. The woman, the queens, 4 more years, 79. What they tell you is that average person of retirement age, 65 years old. So, you mean to tell me that majority of your life, you're working till you're 65 years old. The average lifespan of a man is 75, 74. So we got 9 years after retirement to enjoy the rest of your life, the things that you worked hard for your whole life, 60-something years, 30, 40, whatever years you put into working. How much of that are you living and doing self-audits and checking in to make sure that you can live another 5, 10 years? How about if we treated our health? We didn't factor in the health factors. How poorly are we eating? The things we are putting in our mind poorly. The bad decision making that we are making. The health risks that we are taking. The chances we out there, penitentiary chances. How many times we do some of these things to where we find ourselves in these positions where it's like, man, if I take a bump on this one, I'm watching something right now with Big U, right? California, etc. They want to offer this man, I think, like 200 years or something crazy. He's in the 60s. The lifespan of a man, like we said, is 74, 75, 74, 75, 75, 74. What is it right here? 74. 74. So if he's in his 60s, spending the rest of his life in prison, you think that's how you want to spend the rest of his life? Taking penitentiary chances? I've done that. And I went to prison for it. I did time for that. Time lost, time wasted. When I was out there partying, trying to live my life up, I was trying to catch up for lost time and bury myself in credit card debt, bury myself with relationships, bury myself with family connecting. I buried myself, trying to catch up to lost time. I wish I had more time. The question is, how are we choosing to live and utilize our time today? That is the key. The things that you say that you want, that you procrastinate around. Prime example, There's 6.5 hours, 6 hours and 40 minutes scrolling on the internet, knowing that every tick is a tick closer to death while we going through those motions, and we wasting our time to be mad, upset, angry at other people for things that they did or didn't say, or they didn't greet you in the morning at your job, your coworker, your bosses, or your employees, or your business partners. Everybody's at odds. Who got the time to waste on those things, knowing that the average lifespan is only 74 and 79? 74 and 79. What are we gonna do then? Have you did a self audit? Shit, that shit scared me. I'm being fully transparent. I said, man, I'm halfway over. I'm over the mark halfway. Huh. Time is ticking. So every day that we take for granted, the only person that lose out is you. Because the time is ticking closer to unalived death. Fully transparent. It woke me up. I had these conversations with my mom all the time. My mom said, I'm not always going to be here. I am not always going to be here. Ma, you tripping, man. You tripping. I didn't want to face reality. Truth of the matter is, we all going to go at some point in time. So instead of waiting around for things to get right, you have the opportunity to make it right. Having higher quality decision making. Being able to make decisions on your own. Agency. Having prudence. The quality decision making. How do we get quality decision making? Knowing what is objective, knowing what is subjective. Knowing where its truth lies at, and know what is opinionated. You got to assess that within oneself. Go into the real world and apply it. What are principles? What is law? Understand that. Keep that. That's the truth. Hold on to the principles and the laws. Everything else opinionated, boost up your morale in that area. Understand how I could pick up my decision making. You know what? I really should question that right there. That doesn't really sound right to me. But you be able to do that. The more we be able to boost up our awareness. The more we start being familiar with oneself. The more we stop lying to ourselves. Instead of looking in the mirror, you lying every day, and you wonder why you don't get truth around you. You wonder why everybody lied to you, because you lying to yourself. So you constantly lying to yourself. You lying to other people, and everybody's just lying. And you wonder why everybody telling stories around you. I don't want to be around none of that. People gonna do it. I understand that. Everybody get caught in the fable or lie. I heard something from Dante Nero. Dante Nero says that if you tell 95% of the truth, nigga, excuse my language. If you tell 95% of the truth, you're still a liar. You're still 5% out there. Still 5% out there. You're still a liar. Hey, come on. But we wonder why we the energy we pushing out is coming right back to us. Let's open up our eyes to it. We can't be mad at the game. We mixing the game up the way we want to mix it up when it's convenient for ourselves. It sound good when I do it. Yeah, I can do it. It applied to me. Listen, man, I had to do what I had to do in the situation. You feel me? I gotta make sure. I gotta do what I gotta do. But then when other people do what they gotta do, you can't be mad at them. You can't be mad at them. You gotta charge that to the game. And that's where sometimes we all get, in disarray, because we want people to respond to us in a manner that we don't respond to them. Nah. It don't work like that in the community. It don't work like that in the tribe. It don't work like that when you say, yo, I got my pack. We committed. We together. We came with an oath. We came together in the oath. We said, no, we're going to stand up for this. This is our vow. We vowed to do X, Y, and Z. And we said we are friends. We say we are companions. We say we are loved ones. If you say we are co-workers. If you say, yo, this is my employees. If you say, yo, listen, man, this is my business partner. I build trust in that. That's an oath. Do you honor that oath? Why you think people got paperwork all around? Why you think people go to courts and go through these systems? And you listen, why do marriage break up all the time? Did you get prenups? Did you do all these things? Now they got to write a piece of paper. You know why? Why the divorce rates are the way they are? Because you know why? People haven't made an oath in real time with one another. People never talked about how they feel about what these things supposed to look like, sound like, feel like. Understand is that my household don't run the same as somebody else's household. Because we got to come to an understanding. What's going on in their household, I don't focus on what somebody else is doing in their crib. None of my business. I don't care what somebody else is going on that other side of town. Ain't none of my business. As long as ain't nobody getting, hurt in the process and harmed, and then I think it's a community thing where we all got to get involved. Harming children is a no-go. It's a no-go. Period. Point blank. Period. So if somebody's seeing somebody getting or somebody doing some harm to a child, it's everybody's responsibility to step in to make sure that child don't get harmed. Everybody's responsible for that. It takes a village to raise to raise a child. But where these morals and these belief systems go? We throw them out the window because nobody holding up to it. Everybody lying to each other when it's convenient. Nah, I'm gonna keep this one in my back pocket. Somebody, you know what I mean, I'm just hey, I'm gonna play the game until I don't want to play the game. That's why people go to prison. People doing things, telling. Everything is just a big melting pot of people doing whatever they want when they want. And then the people that just sit around saying, I'm gonna be true to the game. They ain't got nobody else standing true to the game because there's no oath, there's no pact, there's no principles, there's no law, there's no consequences for people doing the things that they do. And we wonder why we can't move forward in our lives because we are building up misuse, mistrust, time wasted, all that within oneself. And we expect that, we expect to pour all this into the universe. We expect to get nothing but good back. When we pour waste of time, waste of energy, lying, cheating, deceit, all that negative energy. And we wondering why we can't get to point A to point B. We're not looking ourselves in the mirror, holding ourselves accountable. Nobody want to be accountable. Now I want to do what I want when I want. True indeed. And you wondering why you by yourself on that journey. Why you don't got the support around. Not saying that we need, the thing is, of course, self-motivation, self-motivated, etc., right? We can do things to a degree for oneself. You got to be able to recognize that if you can't follow order, instruction, and instruction with oneself, how can you be part of a collective to move a collective forward if you don't got the discipline with oneself? It doesn't work like that. Nobody's bigger than the program. The program is the program, the creator, the God. We know what that looks like. Everybody got to follow, everybody got to follow the law, the principle. Everybody got to follow law. But if you choose to obey the law when it's convenient for you, how do you think you're going to be able to fit in with the collective and move the whole unit together? We're not, because you don't possess the discipline. You, when I say you, I'm not talking about just you directly. I'm talking about us as human beings. Us as human beings. Humanity. Man, woman, child. We don't understand order. Man, Corin said this beautifully the other day. He's building on our podcast and he mentioned about him working in the kitchen, working under different chefs, playing his role, playing his position. He said one of the most valuable things he learned throughout his journey of becoming the businessman that he is today, one of the most valuable keys he had learned is when he was working in the kitchen, when it got hot in the kitchen. He understand that, listen, man, it's structure, it's order, it's discipline, it's willingness. You got to be willing to show up to do the job, 12-hour shift, 13-hour shift, 14 hours, whatever it takes, because we moving this thing together as one, as a unit. Community. When you wonder why other communities, other races, other people out there moving as a collective in the world that they living in, because they move as one. But a lot of times we coming from environments and thought processes, and the mindsets, our mentalities are dog eat dog. I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Nobody can tell me nothing. There's no consequences for me. I'm above law. No, you're not. You're not above law. What happened to everybody that felt they were above law? What happened to the people that felt they were above law? Consequences. Consequences. We say karmatic energy. It's just cause and effect. Cause and effect. Whatever you want to label it as. Cause and effect. You put a certain energy out there, you're going to get a response. No matter what. She's going on the gram. It says, take accountability for your actions and goals. Most hated Gucci. What's up, loved one? Gucci's in the building. Ellie in the building. Shark is in the building. What's up, loved one? Trini is in the building. Come on, Amber, cousin Amber in the building. Park is in the building. Come on, loved ones. Let's go. P's in the building. What's up, loved one? Come on, man. Footable rentals in the car. Car rentals in the building. Let's get it. Loved ones is in the building. Powerful. Real time. Real time. We got to take action. We can sit back and point fingers. Every time you point a finger, you point one at one person. How many pointing right back at you? We got four. Four pointing right back at us. Who got the time to waste? Yo, you know what? I'd be remiss if I don't say this. Rest in power, Edna. We lost another beautiful soul. This how fast, like Edna younger than me. A few years. Shout out to her family. Number of prayers and blessings. That fast. That fast. People think it can't happen. We were talking about retirement age. We talking about, see, that's a prime example of how life works. We talking about retirement age 65. The average lifespan of someone is 74. 74 as a man, 79 as a woman. We have a young woman that just passed in her 30s. Let reality sink in for a second. We had a young, beautiful woman pass on us, go to the other realm in the 30s. So what did I tell you? Tomorrow's not promised. Oh no. Oh no, tomorrow is not promised. Jazzy Jeff said you got to go to your grave empty. Meaning that whatever it is that you got to pour out there, pour out there. Because tomorrow may not be here. So why we wasting the time being mad, upset, pointing fingers, this person did this, that person did that? For what? For what? Who benefits from that? How does that put food on your table? How does that prepare your children and the future of our children to be better individuals that have high quality decision making in their lives? No matter what the life throw at them. Throw at them. How we be able to teach our loved ones how to think. Most people, that's the hardest thing most people don't do, is think. But that's the whole key too. If we able to outthink our problems, everybody got things they go through. It's all about perception on how you perceive it. You know, things just happen. That's life. Life just have cause and effect. That's what life is about. Life is just a continuation of cause and effect. Cause and effect. And if we don't know how to problem solve, every time we have a cause and the effect just pummel us, then what? Then what? We tore up from the bottom. We won't never be able to outwork our situations, outthink our situations. Because every time we come up with something that just happens sporadically, spontaneous, by happenstance, by chance, then all of a sudden, all of our mojo and our momentum stop. Like they said about the inertia. Once in motion, stay in motion. Inertia. Whatever's at standstill, stay standstill. What does that tell you about inertia? What does it tell you about inertia? Whatever the state of that thing is, that's where it will remain until acted upon an outside force. Whatever the state of a thing is, people, places, things, mentality, finances, if that stays in that same state and is not acted upon from an outside force, it will remain constant. I don't think y'all hear me right now. I don't think you hear me right now. Let me run that back. Whatever state a thing is, the laws of inertia, whatever the state of a thing, whatever state that it's in, it will always remain unless acted upon an outside force. What does that tell you about life? That means if we sitting on the couch and we wondering why we don't got money in our pocket, we not connected to the world, we not connected to our loved ones, and nothing around us is moving because we're not listening to the law, the principle, objective truth thinking. That's why. So how do we solve those problems? By acting upon with an outside force to change that, change the behavior, having a cause. If you put the cause in place, you change the state, it will have an effect. Life is working off a cause and effect. You can call it karmatic energy, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Action, what Gucci was saying. Action, taking action. Those are the keys. These are things that I was missing in my life. These are things that I just, unbeknownst to me, I just overlooked. Nah, man, I ain't worried about it. Keep counting the tickets. Double parking on the side of the road, parking on the wrong side of, double parking at the pump, doing this, doing that, until I was, $7,000, me and Black, $7,000 in credit card debt. Not credit card, in tolls, and booze, in tickets. $7,000 in tickets. Unheard of. Right? Misusing the credit card. Ching, 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 ching. $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt. Mishandling, misusing, wasting the time. not holding on to what's truth, worrying about what everybody else got going on in their house and their homes and social media, spending 6 hours and 40 minutes scrolling screen time. And then when I have the hour and 20 minutes of the time, what do I do with the other hour and 20 minutes? Not being productive, not working towards my goals. So how do I expect to get to a place in my life if I'm not utilizing these tools that's right in front of me, the basic, the necessities, just being able to think, getting up off our behinds and doing something that would aid us to get to the next step. If we do nothing, what results you think you're gonna get? Just fully transparent. Rich morally, what's up, loved one? It says we only stopping ourselves from greatness. Absolutely, Gooch. 100 Wave King in the building. What's up, loved one? Babe bro in the building. Come on, family. We can spend a lot of time going through woulda, shoulda, couldas. But let me share something with you. You're only taking steps closer to our death every day. Tomorrow's not promised, truth be told. So we can sit around and point fingers, blame. But until we start doing self-audits, checking in with oneself, seeing what you're doing with your time, how you utilizing your time. Man on fire, I wish you had more time. Until we look up and time pass, and we said, damn, only if. Too late for that. Too late for that. I had to wake up and smell the coffee myself. That's why I'm able to relate to it so much. I'm not talking at you, I'm talking with you. I'm talking with you. Because we need to problem solve this thing together. I don't got all the answers. I only just came to this, like I'm just at where I'm at right now, just understanding that, okay, these other things didn't work. I found out bits and pieces of information, and I'm trying to hold on to the principles and the morals and the truths for what seemed to be true, and trying to pick up my subjective thinking and challenge the other things that just don't serve me. You know, it may be me having some vices. That's why I started using my subjective thinking, opinionated thinking. You know what? I'm doing this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I get inebriated. Sometimes I get high, sometimes I don't. Does it serve me or doesn't it serve me? Subjective thinking, opinionated thinking. How does it work for me? Does it benefit me in the long run? Does it benefit me now? Do I got more wins or more losses when I'm in that state? Okay, use it. Okay, you know what? Let's challenge it. Let's see. Let's write it down. How am I feeling today? How I'm doing tomorrow? Set it for 3 days. Do it for a week. Do it for 2 weeks. Do it for a month. And then when you come back with your data, analyze the data. What do it look like to you? Are you more productive or you less productive? Some people need certain things to function and move around. Everything don't work the same for everybody. That's why it's a self-audit. People are different. People are unique. People have different skill sets, different abilities, different capabilities, different willingness. People are driven by different things in their own lives. It could be family members. It could be oneself. It could be from a point of lack or from a point of abundance. You can acquire things from different states mentally, whether you in a state of lack or a state of abundance. Let me give you an explanation. Me and Corum was talking about this the other day as well. The God and me and Marv, that's what we're talking about. Me and Marv and me and Corin started to build on it later on. But Marv was saying, yo, listen, bro, there's people in this world that came from nothing, from the mud, made it out and successful. There were people in this world that, you know, had the silver spoon, made it out and successful. The caveat. There are people in this world that came from the mud, still in the mud. There are people that came from silver spoons, in the mud. What is the moral of the story? There's many outcomes and many possibilities. It's all predicated upon you. You got the choices. Every day you're deciding, making the decision. Should I not? It's up to you. It's all about your perspective. It's all about what you're willing to put yourself out there to go and acquire. We can sit around and blame mommy, daddy, whoever. We can do that. I know that. It's easy to do. That's the easy way out. I'm just misfortunate. I'm just a black man in America. Black man in America, man. Yeah, me. World against me. I can use that excuse to tell them dead and gone. That don't serve me or my people all my loved ones, all my children, all my comrades, or people that got the same agenda or same goals, or people that's coming on this platform sharing their same sentiment about the thoughts and their perspectives of how they get from point A to point B and sharing their insight with me. That don't serve them well, because they trying to people, y'all, you out there trying to give me the game, and you really taking your time out, your time, which is more valuable than money. You are taking your time out to come and steal some of them jewels in me, and I misuse it, and I mishandle it. Then what happens? Is that a service? Does that shows that I have immense amount of gratitude by paying that forward? If I'm not listening to what the people trying to give me, to gain that people that love me and put me in the right direction, steer me in the right direction with truth, do I serve them well because they taking their time out because they care enough about me? Get around people that love you enough to tell you the truth. Gary V, that's what Gary V say. Get around people that love you enough to tell you the truth. Objective truth, principle, moral. People around you trying to steal some things in you and you just misusing it. Why would that person continue to keep coming around and still keep giving you the game, spoon feeding you? You think they got time for that? Don't you think somebody else out there is worthy of that time, that energy, that gratitude? You think other people won't be appreciative of that? People that's in the mud trying to get out the mud, you think they won't appreciate that type of insight? And you mishandling it, you misusing it. Slap in the face. That's what we do at times. That's what we do. We all do it. I've done it. And I still will continue to do the same exact thing if I don't bring up my awareness. If I don't start being resourceful. If I don't start doing self-audits, I will be doing the same exact thing. If the people around me still in those morals and those belief systems in me, I would be spitting on their hand. I would be doing the disservice if I don't level up mentally. Pouring more into oneself. That's what you do. You don't know it. That's why some people are like, I ain't even wasting my time. I ain't wasting my time, man. Because there's work that you got to do personally. They can lead you to the water, but you can't make you drink. They can lead us to the water, but they can't make us drink. And that's some of the things that we got to start learning about ourselves, man. We got to get up off our behinds if we want things to change. Only thing constant in this world is change. But people are unwilling to do the simple things that make the life go around. Just action alone. What Gucci said. Come on, loved ones. I know I'm not. There's more. I know there's more out there. I see more. I'm aware of more. Not there yet. And it's still a continuous, like growth and development until I leave this world. I'm always going to be learning and growing in some area. But I got repetition, habits, doing it over and over and over again. Sometimes I need to be certain things drilled in my mind every day. Certain things I need drilled in my mind every day. Every day. Most people pick up 99 books and read everything. And the thing is, we're not even mastering the one thing. Jack of all trades, master of none. You know what? I had to digress. I had to go back a little bit. I had to start being there's a term for that. Where you just constantly take in information. There's a term. I can't think of the term. There's a term for it. But where you just constantly taking in information and you're not utilizing any of it. There's a term for I can't think of the term. So my thing is, stop taking in so much. Stop trying to do and conquer everything. Me and Black was talking about this the other day. Me and Cuzzo talking about this the other day. Yo, we got to start he sent me something super, super powerful. It was, I'll give it a story, right? See what's up on the gram before I give it up. Slim, what's up, loved one? It was a story, right? About this Asian man, right? He had a sushi bar. It's about business. He had a sushi bar. And this man been making sushi since the 30s, since like 1930 or something. He was for a very long time. He opened up his business. He's in his 90s or something like that. So he's been doing it for a long time. He's in his 90s and he been doing it for like, I can't even recall, years, right? So he had this one business model. And he opened up a sushi bar. The sushi bar only set 10 people. He said, damn, okay. He business for 50, 60 years, whatever, and only seat 10 people. So what he did was every time he hired new people to work in his establishment, they didn't go out and just try to expand the business. They perfected how to make sushi. What do I mean by this? They will perfect how the texture of the fish was. They will beat the fish, I think, for like six hours, some crazy, for like 6 to 8 hours every day. It's a certain way that they had to prepare it. But they had to do this for a duration of time, years of this level of practice before they can even move up and elevate to do anything else in the business. This is the steps that he required in order for people to work in his establishment. They had to learn how to prepare the perfect type of sushi and meals. There's no menu. How he presents the meals to people is that he gauged the meal based on the person that walked through the door. So he look at you, you don't got to tell him nothing about who you are, nothing, and he's gonna prepare the meal for you on what his perception is. Crazy business model. Been doing this for 60 some years. His business was so crazy that Barack Obama tried to get a seat and got negated. He got neglected. You can't come in here because he wasn't on the list, because he had a long waiting list. Until I think one of the prime ministers somewhere out in China, wherever he was, already booked a seat and already had seating for one more, which was Barack Obama. But on his own merit, as the president of the United States, wasn't able to get through the door. What am I saying? A lot of times we are focused on the money instead of working on perfection, working on perfecting the craft. That's what I learned from that. I learned that a lot of times the only way we get better at doing the thing is by doing the thing. We get so caught up about the money, about people, about perception, about what the other man gonna say, what the other woman gonna say. Why doesn't it matter what you say? Why don't you make the rules? It's your world. It's your world. You make the rules. You set the rules. You set the template. No, you got the business model. You got the business structure. You could choose the business model what you want it to be. You could be one person. I only sit one person. I could sit 10 people. Or I can make an establishment where there's 100 people sitting or seating. That's real craftsmanship. That's what you call believing in oneself, perfecting the craft. He sat down and he perfected that for X amount of years. He's in his 90s. I think he opened up in 1930 or something like that, 40, whatever, and never changed the seating in his establishment. Bought the building and had only seated 10 people at a time. Reservations, long waiting list, forever. Waiting list from here to God knows where. President of the United States couldn't even get a seat at it. He didn't care who you were. No pun intended. Because what he was doing was just building the know, the like, and the trust of his clients and building up that skill set. And everybody that walked through the door, they had to perfect the craft making of how to make sushi. Craftsmanship, skill set, devotion, dedication, discipline, rigorous routine, habitual routine, day in, day out, self-audits. And if it wasn't right, they had to repeat the process until it's right. You wasn't able to make it to the main line until it was right. Made me think about Corin. Discipline and order. Structure. Prime example. That's what he learned. He told me his own insight. Black just sent this to me yesterday or the day before. Principles. Objective thinking. Truth. We got to hold on to truth, man. Listen, man. Jim Rome says success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. There are blueprints out there. There are blueprints that work. There are blueprints that work. You can choose to follow them or not follow them. All work works when you work it. All work works when you work it. But you got to be an advocate for that. You got to be somebody saying, I'm willing to do the work, do the job when nobody else willing to do it. Because if you're looking around doing the job and want to get praised for it, you think that's going to come? Never. It's not going to happen like that. Lizzie sent me a picture the other day where she says it's half of the bleachers had one or two people on there, and the other side was decked out with a bunch of bodies. And somewhere along the lines, it was similar to saying that on your journey in the beginning or something like that, there's nobody cheering or clapping, but as soon as you become successful, everybody will be in the stands. Nature of the business, part of it. That's just how it goes. Nobody believes. Nobody believes. Because you know why? Most people are just lying. Most people lying. Mario Golden says, you are the only person that heard every lie that you told. That's why we don't got no belief. You the only person I heard every lie that you told. You can self-analyze that, right? Most people just, tell anybody anything. I'm 100% truthful. Yeah, you can tell people that, but in your own mind, fraudulent, imposter syndrome. That's where that come in at, because you don't believe, you don't believe strong enough until you start being it and doing it, becoming the thing, doing the thing every day, changing our behavior. You lie every day. Try not to lie for a day, and to do it for 2 days, and do it for 3 days, and then go by the moral. Go by the morale with Dante Nero says. If you lying 95% of the time, the other 5% you're still a liar. So you want to be somebody that's just truthful and transparent. You cannot tell no lies about nothing. About nothing. You know what I mean? Keeping it 100 with yourself. Keep it 100 with yourself. You brought the milk at. Now you know you done fucked up, right? You brought the milk with time. Now you know they fucked up, right? Anybody that say don't be a menace to society, they know what I'm talking about. So you brought the milk one time. Ha, you know you done fucked up, right? Absolutely. Absolutely, loved ones. Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing to switch this over. Okay. It's a beautiful thing just to be fully aware and transparent, because we all got skeletons in the closet. We all have done things, some things we're not proud of. We that's life. We make mistakes, but that is a prerequisite to perfection. Making mistakes is a prerequisite to perfection. You're perfect. Dr. Ali says this, bro. Dr. Ali says you're already perfect. The way you get perfection is through error. Cause and effect. That's how you get perfection. Everybody's perfect. Everybody's perfect. You gotta have cause and effect to get to perfection. So going out there making mistakes is normal. It's normal. We gotta keep repeating the process until we build up perfection. The rigorous, the day in, the day out, the self audits. We gotta do that. And once we start doing that and really, maximizing our potential, be resourceful, utilizing our resources, come together, connect, be that liaison, be that person that, be dependable, bet on yourself, be disciplined for oneself, be able to have that mentality geared around who you are first and foremost. And then after that, it would transcend to the other people, to where you can get in think tanks and other brainstorm environments, to where people could come together and, share sentiment, share thoughts. Me and Roy the other night just building. 12 midnight. Me and the guard just building, sharing our thoughts. Powerful. Iron sharpen iron. That's what we do. We got to do that. That's how we just get better. There's some areas in my life where I'm struggling at. I need some help. But nobody gonna be willing to help me if I spit on their hand by not doing the work. Why would they continually waste the time on trying to keep teaching me, and I just disregard whatever else I'm getting taught. Whatever I'm getting taught, I just disregard it. You think that's an act of service? It's not an act of service or appreciation. It's not an act of service or appreciation. People that want to help want to know that you're willing to help yourself first. People that want to help you want to know that you are willing to help yourself first. That's where it starts. And then once you start doing that on a continuous basis, you start building up knowing, liking, and trusting. So now you start trusting yourself. So now other people start seeing, okay, he trusts him or she trusts herself. Now other people will start putting a little more trust in you. And then before you know it, now we got a tribe. Now we got a community. Now we got a collective. Now we can say, you know what, hey, I'm willing to show up for this cause, or etc. Or somebody's willing to come up and show up for your cause, or etc. That's how these things work. I wish I had more time. We can make that impact today. We can start today. We can start utilizing our time today in real time. You don't gotta wait for nobody. There are always going to be people, places, and things that want to strip you away from your time. That's why what they do is on the media, they flood you with, okay, go to your explore page. Let's see what you like. They just keep feeding you more of what you already entertain, or your vices. Some of the things are distractions. Why are they doing it? Stay on the platforms longer. That's the whole goal for them. Sometimes you gotta put that thing away. Jerry Seinfeld says what he does is he go into a room, lock himself in a room for hours in on a day, 2-3 hours a day, and he can't do nothing but write. That's how he built up his comedy. Alex Hormozy says he does the same thing for certain times of the day. 1 or 2 hours, he go in his room, no shades, no all darkness, going there and just focus on doing what he got to do for his business. He can't do nothing else in there but work towards his business. Same thing with Jerry Seinfeld. He said the same thing. I go in this dark room when I'm locked in here for the time that I'm in there. I can't do nothing. I could do nothing at all, or write to bring up my penmanship for my acts when it comes to for comedy. Nothing else. No scrolling the internet, no texting, no doing none of these things. That's the level of discipline that we got to start implementing in order to get to where we want to get to. Dr. Ali said what he does is at 30 minutes when he wake up every day, he takes 30 minutes and every day he switches the subject every day on what he want to study, what he want to learn. One day is health, next day is about science, another day it's about mathematics, another day is about astrology, cosmology, whatever. I'm just saying that every day it's the daily. What I'm saying is it's the daily work that we have to do. The power of habit. The power of habit. Charles Duhigg. The power of habit. Atomic Habits. James Clear. These are some of the books that speak about these things. James Clear, Atomic Habits. Charles Duhigg. The Power of Habit. Some of these books, they detailing it. But not only, what I'm saying is I'm picking up the sources from what these people are talking about. If I have enough and trusted people that I look at as, qualified people to speak upon these subjects, and they talk about the same exact things, and then we got people that I know, and trust, that experienced it and doing the same thing and telling me their life experiences. When Corin was saying he was working in the kitchen, this is what he experienced. I'm like, oh, that's truth. Because they talking about it in these books. And I've seen it, somebody that I know in real time doing it. I've done it. That's how you start saying, okay, that's objective. That's the truth. Hold on to that. That's the principle. That's the moral. That's the morale. That's what you hold on to. That's the belief system. What knowing, that's what you know. Hold on to that. Everything else started to get questioned. I'm watching this, baddies, whatever. Is baddies a objective thing, or is this just strictly entertainment that's taken away from what's going on with me in my life? Subjective, opinionated thing. I don't think I need this in my life at the very moment. If I got goals that I'm trying to set for myself, if I'm trying to get to a place that'll serve me, in the future. Let's go to the ground real quick. See what's going on in the gridiron. What's up, loved one? Cello, what's up, loved one? Yeah, we in the building. Big love. I appreciate everybody that tapped in with the God today on our podcast. I'm really just appreciative, and I show immense amount of gratitude, and I love to talk about it because it means that much to me. It shows that you care enough for yourself, not just for me. You care enough about yourself to go and share your insight and showing up for me in real time and showing up for yourself. It means that we paying these things forward because we come in there and we share sentiment and we drop gems amongst our group. We brainstorm. This is a think tank. This is where we build and know, and trust amongst ourselves because it's a safe space. We will get challenged because we're not gonna just allow anything to come through the door. If something don't sound right, we all can spread our wisdom on it and then come together as a collective to see where does the truth lie at. That's what the whole game is. That's what I'm trying to. That's my whole premise of me coming on the platform is really trying to be a better individual and get to those next levels, whatever those next levels are. But the only way I'll be able to figure that out is I come in there and I build with the people that's already on that same level and going to the same places as well, which is you guys. You guys and gals. You feel me? In the future of the children. We all coming together as a collective and understanding, okay, what roles do we need to play? How do we get there? Okay, did you learn something today? Or what did you learn? Share that with me. Did you? Okay. Oh, that's a play? Let me use that. Let me see if it works. Nah, I seen it work. Okay. Hand over fist. Okay. You know what? Now we did that. That ain't suit us. Just the wrong timing on this thing just doesn't work. But we can share that sentiment amongst one another. We can share that perspective. We can share those thoughts, that way of thinking. Because a lot of times our thinking only got us to where we are in our lives. Everywhere we are in our lives right now is a direct result of the thoughts that we carried out that led us where we are. It's that simple. Our own thoughts got us where we are right now. And we're not here for no reason. We're not here by chance. We're not here by happenstance. We're here collectively because we are learning and growing together. There's things that you are doing in your life directly right now that's impacting you, your family, myself included. You are impacting. You are impacting. It's apparent because you're showing up in ways that you could be anywhere else in the world. You could be doing it. You could be scrolling right now. You could be scrolling. You could be twirling the fingers. You could be doing, you know what I mean, and delving into your vices. But you came here on the strength of yourself to say, you know what, I got something to add to this conversation. That's what you did today, because now you bringing me to a thought process. You know what? Nah, we all on this journey together. We still got to show up. As long as we show up for one another every week, then it's gonna continuously grow. It's going to grow, and more or less, it's not about the numbers. It's about how much are we growing with oneself. Are we growing to a place in our lives to where we want to get to? That's the whole game. We trying to grow. Coach Lucky, I always mention Coach Lucky because he's so impactful and he says so many things that hit home. And he said something. He said, "You got to grow through things, and then eventually grow out of them. You got to grow through things, and then eventually grow out of them. That's what the growth is. The growth is a continuation of growing and being on a place or space or a mental state, a state, and then getting out of that state to leveling up or going to another place and space. The more you get, wisdom shed upon you. That's how that thing works. Some things we hold on to when it comes to principles and law, we hold on to those things. But when it comes to the subjective thinking, we get to a place and space, we learn what we learn, take the truth out of it, and then whatever doesn't apply, we go on to the next. And then we just keep learning and growing, keep building ourselves up. Because every day we are becoming the person that can acquire the thing. We are becoming the person every day to acquire the thing. Whatever it is that you want in life, you can get that. You got to become the person in order to acquire it, though. We can't send the baby to the store and get the milk at 2 years old. They can't drive. I don't know no baby on the planet right now that can drive at 2 years old. I don't know. So what that means, they can't even reach the pedals. I got a hard time reaching the pedals. You heard? The God got a hard time reaching the pedals. So they talk about the baby. You feel me? Once again, I appreciate everybody showing up, tapping in with the God today. You are super, super appreciated for me. You guys hold a dear space in my heart because you let me know that I'm on the right path. This is the confirmation. You spending your time just let me know that there are people that's willing to show up for themselves and for me. And together we forming a community, a tribe. That's what's powerful. That's what's meaningful to me. Along with my flaws. You know I'm flawed. But flawed is perfection as well. We just gotta recorrect the error. Recorrect the error. That's all it is. Taking the information and the data, reassessing it, come back to the drawing board. It's just making more prudent and quality decision making from there. That's what that is. So don't look at yourself. Don't beat yourself up from coming against situations in your life where you fell short. Nah, that's really the correction. You fell short. Now you know what not to do for the next go round. Corrected it. You corrected the error. You got the error, but within the error is still truth. Because now you got some of the data to what you could dismiss. It's just only focused on what's going to yield you to the next level. It's power, man. Everything is perspective. And you got this. We got this together. And we're gonna do it. One day at a time, 1 week at a time. Every day when it comes to habitual habits, just pick yourself up in the areas that you can learn and grow. That's it. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just be willing to do the work. Just be willing to show up for you. Show up for yourself. It matters. It counts. There are people counting on you. First and foremost, you. You are counting on yourself. And then if you got children and family members and loved ones, they're counting on you as well. Because we need you to be your best version of you so you can help them. So imagine you got 30 people in your circle that all operating at a high level, just their level. They just living out their purpose. Not you don't got no you don't have to do nothing that I'm doing. We don't have to do the same thing. I'm saying is that they living at their purpose and you doing it at a high level. You being you, the highest level. That's the highest form of you know consciousness. God, goddess. You performing at the highest level as a creator when you operate the highest level of oneself. You more in tune with oneself, and that's the power you got. Nobody could take that away from you. Only you could do that. So I just want you to emphasize and just pour more into you. The more and more you pour into yourself, the more and more you be able to pour into other people. You build up the levels of empathy. You start to be empathetic. You say, okay, you know what? Oh, I can care for another person the way I care about myself. It's hard to care for somebody else if you don't love yourself. You can't spread around love if you hate yourself. You feel me? But you can do it. No, you got it. We got it together as a collective, and we're gonna show up every week and do the job, do the work. So I love you all. I appreciate you all, and if there's anything, I'd be remiss to say, if there's anything that I said that disturbed you in any way or ruffled the feathers, understand that my sentiment was only coming from a place of trying to help. So I just want to be fully transparent about that. Is that if there's things that I've said that rubbed you the wrong way or made you feel some type of way, understand my sentiment is coming from a pure place, and I'm not here to hurt. I'm here to help in any way that I can. I'm here to learn anything that I can in order to take us as a collective from one step to the next step, and we're gonna get there in due time. We definitely gonna get there. So trust in yourself. Build that trust up with you. Build that up with yourself, and then that slowly but surely things don't change overnight, but you start to see it change in due time when you exercise that belief system, knowing that no, I'm truth. I'm transparent. I'm omnipresent. You feel me? You got this. I love you unconditionally. Love yourself. Love your loved ones, and keep fulfilling your purpose. Pour more into you, and we tapping out, man. We tapping out respectfully. Shop out respectfullygreat.com. Subscribe, like on YouTube at Respectfully Great on YouTube, and do all those good things, man, to boost them numbers up so we start to monetize or something. You heard? Get the coin, man. Check the coin. Love you all, man. Tapping out respectfully.